The Alfie Whattam podcast.
So the last piece of news that I was keen to discuss is very much into the future. It's into the world of space technology. So this is Spaceship Neptune. This is a concept which is set to be scheduled from late next year, and it will give everyday people the opportunity to go into space. And become astronauts. That would be a great little thing to have on your LinkedIn tagline, astronaut. That would be very, very cool. Let me show you a clip of it. Please turn on video if you're just listening to the episode, and then we'll get your perspectives. Here is basically it's a huge balloon, like a hot air balloon, which lifts a capsule into the air, into space. And in that capsule, it has live... You can live stream. It's got all the phone data. It's got Wi-Fi, etc. You have a nice meal up there. I think you're up there for a couple of hours. You get the incredible view, which everyone obviously would love to have in their lifetimes. And you have a fine dining experience. You can hang out with a crew on board. I believe there's only one person up there with you that knows how to operate it, so that's quite scary if they had a heart attack or something. Give them a robotic heart just in case. And yeah, obviously a life-changing experience for people that are able to do that. That is Spaceship Neptune, potentially the future of space travel. Jess, what's your perspective when you see that? Is that something that you're excited about? Would you want to do it? What's your point of view?
I think it's really amazing to be able to have the opportunity in your lifetime to do something like that. I think I would be one of those people who's missed safety and waits a bit for everyone to jump the crowd first. And if I find it safe enough, then yeah, I would definitely be down to go. But yeah, definitely something to watch out for, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike? What's your point of view on this?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's something I'll definitely look into.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's not just something which is available for the super rich.
Yeah.
Which is quite appealing. So yeah.
Okay. Yourself?
You had me at fine dining.
Not in space.
No, that does look amazing. Yeah, I think the views would be incredible. Like, be such a fantastic opportunity and like experience of a lifetime.
Yeah,
certainly be interested.
Okay. So flights are scheduled to start from late 2024. Obviously, it seems I don't know the details around this, but it seems safer than like going up in a SpaceX rocket, which could blow up at any minute. I'm sure the thing is, some of these are probably going to go wrong. Like we're gonna have stories of these crashing, balloons bursting, whatever happens, right? So there's always a risk. It's space at the end of the day. But if you had a free ticket, would you? I don't have a free ticket for you right now, but if I said, hey, here's some free tickets, we're all going to go up to space, would you say yes? Would you say no? What would you say, Jess?
Tricky one. Do you know what? If it was a free ticket, I always see things as everything happens for a reason, and I would probably be like, yeah, fine, I'll go. Yeah,
I think I probably would as well. It's the kind of thing where if you said no, you'd regret it afterwards, and you'd be like, oh, I could be in space right now, but who knows? Would you take a free ticket, Andy?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks. Wow. It's such an amazing opportunity. I know that Jeff Bezos is trying to commercialize space tourism, and it's a fascinating area. It just seems like such a distant dream as a child, like looking at like NASA and International Space Station. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'd definitely jump at the chance.
Cool. And Mike, would you take a free ticket or would you say no?
100%. I think the main thing for me would just be around like the safety element.
Yeah.
Like for me, I personally just want to know what would happen if things did go wrong, just in case.
Would you freak out if you were up there and something happened?
Oh yeah.
I think
yeah.
I would.
No doubt.
I mean, what can you do? You can't parachute out of there. I mean, you're up there. So it's the kind of thing where you kind of just need to give away control. You're like, right, I'm going up, right? My life is in your hands. Please, Mr. Bezos, don't let me down, sort of thing. It's not free, obviously. It is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money compared to perhaps what space travel was to begin with. Because at first you were talking, like hundreds of millions per astronaut going up. Now you can be an astronaut for it's 125 grand for a 6-hour trip to begin with, and then that price obviously will come down as economies of scale happen. 125 grand for 6 hours. Would you? I mean, if you had the money, do you think that's worth it?
I don't have the money.
I know, but if you had the money.
Yeah, I suppose if money was no object,
Yeah.
it was, as I said before, it's a good experience. But I think obviously that's going to be a limiting factor for most people.
Sure. Yeah. If you had the money, would that be something that you'd splurge on?
I would. It's a lot of money still. Like
Of course.
regardless, yeah, I feel like it could be spent on better things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good chance.
But it's not, most people spend more than that on their house. And,
Yeah.
and, so, I mean, I know it's only 6 hours and the house is for a
Yeah.
lot longer than that, right? But, I mean, that is probably the most life-changing experience that you can have, apart from like having kids or something. Going into space, that would be
Just as expensive.
Yeah, but well, I know maybe kids are more expensive, who knows? But would you take that, Jess? 125 Gs for 6 hours?
Yeah, I think if I had the money, it's a life-changing experience. Why not?
Yeah, it's interesting, like where. Because out of all the technologies which are exploding and getting better and better, it almost seems like space is perhaps like the most fascinating of them all, like the final frontier, right? It's the ultimate like goal and vision. And if we're able to have in our lifetimes the opportunity to go into space, or maybe even go to Mars, who knows if that would become a thing. The Mars one is very interesting because it's basically Elon and NASA trying to get there. I don't really know if there's many other people involved in that mission at the moment. The theory, like the Elon's grand theory, is you've got SpaceX to get us there. You've got Teslas because there's no gas on Mars. You need the sun, and you had Solar City to collect the energy and then power the Teslas. And then he has the Boring Company to dig tunnels because it's really hot up there. You can't just walk around and get a suntan. You need to kind of stay underground and stay in close areas. The difference between Spaceship Neptune and Mars is with Spaceship Neptune it's 6 hours. You come up and then you come down, and then you're hacking in the afternoon and having dinner, right? With Mars, you're not coming back. Like if the first people that go there, perhaps in our lifetime, they're going to die on Mars, and it's probably not going to be a great like experience as well. You're probably going to be living in a tunnel. You're probably going to be eating terrible food, with a bunch of people that are going to die at any given point. Anything could go wrong. You're never going to return. So that's a very different type of space travel as opposed to this luxury type. But would you all be up for it? If you had a free ticket to Mars, if Elon walked in the room and said, "Look, let's get you there, let's do it." What would you say, Andy? Would you be in for that?
I don't think so. No, the 6 hour trip to
That'll be enough for you.
the edge of the atmosphere is probably enough for me. But like, that's a commitment, a lifelong commitment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that would be enough to make me out.
Yeah. What would you suggest?
Yeah, I think it would be a no from me. There's enough to do on Earth right here, so I'm happy where I am.
Yeah. And yourself?
Similar. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite happy to stay at home with the family.
Yeah. I mean, it's the sort of thing that you would be in the history books for, right? Like one of the first pioneers there. But I mean, you'd never be able to read those history books because you'd just be in a tunnel somewhere. Yeah, I know, crazy to see where space is happening. Well, one thing that is very interesting about the innovations in this area, and we were doing a podcast the other week about this, is with the emergence of like Boston Dynamics, like the robots are getting better and better. It's likely that the first time we visit Mars, we won't do it with people. We'll send robots up there. We'll send 3D printers, which will print all the houses, all the components, and create a city for us. And then by the time we get there, we've got infrastructure in place and that sort of thing. If it was a little bit more, we're talking, 20, 30 years after the setup, I'm pulling numbers out the air obviously here, but if we had a situation where you could go there and you could have an amazing experience and you could come back, there's still a risk involved. Would you be more up for that sort of thing, or is it still not of interest? What would your point of view be?
I guess it's the time frames and getting there and back, right? It's a fair few light years away, I guess.
Well, there's a window as well, so I think it's once every 6 months, I believe, or so. That's when the planets are close enough to do the travelling. So yeah, it would be like you wouldn't be able to leave whenever you wanted. There'd be a return ticket, and that might get pushed out a couple of years, depending on what happens. But would you be game for it in your old age when perhaps this is a little bit easier to do?
Maybe in my old age, yeah. Depends on grandchildren and what's going on here. It also depends on the state of the planet, right? 20, 30 years here, we'll see what's left of Earth by that point. If we continue going on the route we are now, we might all be queuing up to get there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, there is the argument that why are we spending all this money doing this when we should be doing it on Earth to fix Earth? But at the same time, if Earth is at risk of nuclear war or whatever, with obvious events that are happening, we kind of need to get people onto different planets to avoid the risk of us all going to zero. Would you sign up to a free return ticket to a more luxurious Mars, Jess?
I think if I was at the point in my life where I felt like I'd visited enough countries here,
Sure.
Been to enough places, I would probably take the risk and be like, you know what, let's do it. It's a return trip. Whatever happens.
Yeah. What about yourself?
I guess it depends if like Mars offered something different to Earth other than like a barren landscape with a city built in underground. It's I guess at the minute the thought of it doesn't really excite me that much. Obviously, you go to space and everything else, but with the was it Neptune? Have you just shown us there?
Spaceship
like
Neptune.
That seems enough to me for now. But again, like Andy was saying, it just comes down to like what the state of the planet's in. Are things going downhill even more, and does that offer like better prospects?
Yeah. Interesting.
Hey, thanks for watching this YouTube video. If you want to see more like this, please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.